Hello and welcome back to Students in Stereo. I am your host, Teagan Elliott, and I have had a crazy busy week, so I'm very sorry that this episode is getting to you so late in the evening. But with that, let's just launch right into our theme song. Alrighty, so this past week, there's been a lot to do. I went to Greece, which I was very excited, to go do. I don't know if in the last episode, I think with Bobby, I talked about it. I said I was going to Chania, which is in Crete. It's in northern Crete. Initially, I thought it was pronounced Chania, but I watched a couple YouTube videos and did some research on Crete and the city of Hania before I went. So I knew what it was called before I got there, which was good because I have a friend who said he'd been and he didn't know. And then I know someone else that had been that said, yeah, they told the taxi driver I want to go to Chania, and they were like, you mean Hanya? So definitely before you go to a place, just make sure you know how to pronounce the name of the town you're going to. Slay. And then I also looked up a couple words in Greek so I'd know something before I'd go. I'd say the thing I probably said the most was Epharisto. Don't know if I pronounced that exactly correctly, but meaning thank you. So always like before you go, do some research on some words. Like before you go to any place, just so you can try and speak the language a little bit. I do know the only place I've been to where I definitely got like not some heat for trying to speak the language, but I know you hear this a lot, and I was kind of ignored. Um, was in France when I went to Paris. It felt like any French I knew, it didn't really matter at the end of the day. But luckily, I was there with my friend Jaya, and she was like living there for a year abroad, so her French was quite good compared to my own. But yeah, I went to Hanya and I went to the beach, and it was like, oh god, in the 20s Celsius, the low 20s, which would be what, like 70s Fahrenheit. It was warm and lush and sunny and had great food, really, really fresh. Oh my gosh, we went to this one place that had tapas, and I haven't been to many tapas places, and I know, um, that like there are a couple places in New York, I just haven't been. Um, but yeah, I got like some Greek mini plates, and it was the best Greek salad I've ever had. The feta fresh, the tomatoes unparalleled to anything else. Thinly sliced onion. The tomatoes were just also so perfectly ripe, and they thinly sliced the green peppers. And I don't really like green peppers. I'm not a green pepper girly, but these were fire. And then they seasoned it well with like salt and then probably a little bit of sugar. And then it was really light oil. It definitely did not taste like an olive oil to me, unless maybe it was this very extra light virgin olive oil. Maybe it could have been a grapeseed olive oil. But I know that a lot of the olive oil that they offered that you could buy, at least in Hania, was all the cold pressed extra virgin olive oil. So I bought a bottle of that while I was there, and I ended up having to buy a suitcase because I only came with a backpack. And my dad told me that he would bring me like things I forgot, like my leggings, and some other like American treats and things. So I brought a backpack, but when I tell you, I've never packed lighter in my life. I had like exactly what I needed. I've never packed that efficiently before. I had like the exact outfits, and I re-wore a top twice. Like that was pretty big. Didn't have a different top for each day, and I was only there for 3 days. Like I really packed efficiently. And me wanting to buy olive oil, obviously that's gonna go over my 1 ounce, my one fluid ounce limit there with the bottle. So I was like, you know what? I have a suitcase. So I love that my suitcases Russian doll into each other. So I've got like the one really big one, and then that Russian doll's into the other one, and then there's another one. But I knew that I didn't want to pay to check a bag because like paying to check the bag was like £60 or something, which I thought was ridiculous because the flight itself I think was worth around that. I was like, forgot, I'm not gonna check a bag. So I brought the backpack, had extra room, so I could fit all the stuff that Dad wanted to like bring for me so graciously. He brought me like my Ghirardelli brownie mix, and he brought me my American blue Jello, so I had my Jello shot cups. Like, I'm very excited. But so I wanted to also buy olive oil and like a nice perfume and things like that. And with my suitcases, I obviously didn't like the one I use the most. It's hanging on for dear life. It the wheel was broken, so every time you roll it goes and the little zipper broke on one side, and then on the front pouch, that zipper broke, and like it won't even seal shut. So I taped it shut, so there's tape all over it, and the wheel's broken. The suitcase has seen better days. It really was on its last leg. So while I was in Crete, we bought another suitcase, and I really was hoping it would fit in Russian doll into the other one. And I got home and it just like barely does not work. So in terms of storage, I'm really sad about that, because now it has to take up more space, having two big suitcases next to each other rather than just the one that Russian dolls. However, we move. Very happy to now have a suitcase that has the four wheels, so I can like push it through the airport. It's so cool. I've never had that before. I definitely enjoy it. It's really really smooth. So I got my olive oil, and so I recreated this Greek salad that I had from this tapas place. So I went to Waitrose, and I bought the like fine ripened tomatoes. They looked perfect. And I got my green pepper, my red onion, my like Greek feta, because like Waitrose will have like the super authentic. I also wanted just the sheep feta. Was it sheep or was it cow? I think it was sheep. Just sheep feta. Question mark. I don't remember, but I remember at the time I knew exactly. I didn't want any goat feta. I didn't want goat's milk. I don't like that feta as much. I think it was just pure sheep's milk. Anyway, I got the Greek feta, and I got the oregano because I think what I found is a lot of the food had oregano in it. That seems to be like the spice of choice is oregano. And I drizzled a little bit of the Greek olive oil on there. So amazing. I was like, I recreated it like to a T. I was like, it feels like I'm back. It feels like I'm back. I already missed it, and that was after like what? I made that less than a week after I'd already left. And then last night I made gyros. I made like chicken with the pita wrap, and I marinated the chicken with like all the spices and the Greek yogurt. I made my own tzatziki because they didn't have any at the one stop I went to, which is like a small grocery store, and I didn't expect them to have it, but they had yogurt. My housemate had dill, and I had cucumber, so I was like, I'm just gonna make it myself. But I added a little bit of cumin to it just because I love cumin. And anyway, I've just loved cooking since I got back, and I will say being back in Greece, it inspired me to want to cook more like fresh food, light food. It's so good. I love that Greek salad. You guys don't understand. And I had this like amazing chicken that was like had these almonds on it with like this whipped feta like cream sauce next to it. It was phenomenal. I honestly had a great time eating the food there. And then we went to the beach, and I was sipping Aperol spritzes, sending pictures to my friends Will and Lois, who are like my Aperol gang. Um, just lots of Aperol and beach and sun. The cocktails were phenomenal. I will say it was really nice having my dad there to help pay for some of my cocktails, because I was able to then like try more cocktails, and like there was this one bar we went to. It was called the Boulevard of Broken Dreams, and it's not from like I was thinking it was gonna be Green Day Boulevard. Like I was ready for that kind of vibe, more punky, I guess. But it wasn't. It was from like the original song. So the vibes were like a little more Elvis. Like it was a cool bar, and they had these really fun different cocktails. And so I was just like trying drinks that I don't think I can get anywhere else. Something Greek I didn't try was ouzo. I'm not an ouzo girly. I don't like licorice. Um, uh, I did have what's it called? There's like this shot that they give you at the end of the meal at the restaurants. So this is an R. It's kind of like when you go to Switzerland and then they give you kirsch, or it's like so it kind of tastes like vodka at the end of the meal. It's like having like a shot, but you like sip on it. So I was manic pixie dream girl energy, trying to like sip it to like impress like the cute Greek waiters, rather than shotting it. And then let's see, lots of evil eyes everywhere. Lots of evil eyes. So I got a cute evil eye necklace, and I got a evil eye pin on my pin board. Um, yeah, and then I had some really good coffee. Just overall, I had a lovely time. We did try to go clubbing on last night because I was really intent on it. Was Friday night. I really wanted to go to a dance club and just dance. It was just me, my dad, and his girlfriend. And we were gonna go. We rallied, and then we looked at it on the outside, and it looked like there was no one in there. We were like, "I'm sorry, this just isn't gonna happen. Like, we're not, we're not going in." Instead, we went to bed, and yeah, um, the hotel was lovely, and if you go in October, definitely more affordable than going in the summertime. So if you can go in October, I recommend. It's also not as hot, probably. Beaches were emptier. Um, oh my gosh, the woman at the beach was so lovely. So there was also a lot of construction going on. My guess is because less touristy season, so the construction commences more. It's also less hot. So we hit the beach, and there's like lounge chairs immediately, and people telling you they're trying to sell them to you. And but there was all this construction nearby, and I was like, let's just keep going. I don't think this is gonna be the spot. So we keep going, and eventually we hit part of the beach, and it was quieter. Lounge chairs looked all right, and then the woman came over, and she was like, for however long you want, I think it was like €10 for the three of us. And I was like, that was very, very generous. I was like, okay. Because apparently there were other places that try to, in other parts of Greece that they went to, because I met them in Chania. They were doing a bigger trip. But they were saying other beaches that they went to in like really touristy, expensive areas were trying to sell it to them for like €80 for the day. And they're like, we don't want the day, we just want like an hour or two. And they're like, nope, sorry. So yeah, overall, the beach was lovely, and I was swimming in the Mediterranean, having a really, really, really lovely time. And then when I got back to England, train got cancelled back to York. Flight was delayed. It was freezing. When I tell you, I boarded the plane in shorts and a tank top, and then once I landed, put on my trackies and my jumper because it was so cold. I was like, this is not the vibe. It was like below freezing. I remember the next morning I had to get up for rowing, and it was 0 degrees Celsius. So like freezing. And I biked to the boathouse, and I was so cold. I think it was definitely like a slap in the face after having been like in lovely warm land. Had some really nice fish. I was living the life. I really was. It was 3 days of bliss. And then I got back, and then I had a lot of rowing going on this week, and a lot of school stuff. I have to come up with an idea for my diss. Have to, yeah, have a lot of work to do. Since I'm doing my audio course, I'm doing an advanced audio course, which I know last year at the university did not run because there weren't enough people that wanted to do it. But this year we had enough. And now that we've also combined with the music department, there were some music students that wanted to do the advanced audio for like more film stuff than music. So I've got a presentation for that I have to prep for, and yeah, I just say like, yeah, school, rowing, a little bit of Greece. That's kind of been life lately. Um, I'm excited for Halloween next week, so stay tuned for the Halloween weekend episode with a special guest. You guys might already know. And yeah, I honestly feel like I don't have much to say currently. Oh, also, apparently, I don't know if you guys have been watching Bake Off, but on Bake Off, there's a student who recently graduated from the University of York. He is on this season of Bake Off. I believe his name is Rowan. And he's on Bake Off. So I think, question mark, he is supposed to be on YSTV. So go check it out. But even if he's not, check out the YSTV live. It should be interesting. You'll catch me there, given some reports and some interviews, and yeah. Oh, also supposed to be tentatively. I don't want to like jump the gun here, but I'm supposed to be working on my first feature film this weekend as a runner / sound assistant, I believe. So I'm a little nervous. I definitely get imposter syndrome, I feel like. I am nervous. Like, I do want to do this, and I want to commit and tell people I'm good at this and get the job and do the most. I'm really scared that they're going to ask me things and I'll be like, oh, deer in headlights. Like, won't know what I'm doing. So I'm a little nervous. I'm scared I'll get imposter syndrome, but I also just need to be confident. Go in there, kick some ass, show what I'm made of, meet some people, and then come back. It also isn't super far from York, so it should be easy to manage. And supposedly, food and accommodation are provided, so that'll be nice. And then other than that, I do think it's unpaid, but I don't mind because I'm a student, so I can just tag along. And I also know that that's the industry I'm signing up for. So, other than all those things, yeah, life has been busy, and I'm excited for Halloween. Stay tuned for me to talk about a couple of my Halloween looks on the pod for next week. And yeah, this was a pretty short episode. I hope y'all have enjoyed tuning in. And I'm trying to think, was there anything else I want to say to you guys? I feel like I'm just trying to, I guess, wrap it up, I guess, because was there anything funny that happened to me in Greece? I don't think so. Yeah, no. No, I have a story. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, basically, my dad's girlfriend's daughter. So early on in their trip, when they were in Athens, this was the first place they went because that's where the flight landed. You know, it's easy to find Athens, and then from there you'll have your layover to somewhere else in Greece if you'd like to go. So they flew to Athens, and they got fish. And my dad's girlfriend's daughter, she was eating the fish, and there was a big bone that she did not, I guess, feel with her teeth or her tongue or whatever. She swallowed it. And it got like stuck in her throat, and she felt it, or felt like maybe it scratched her throat or punctured her throat somehow. So the next place they went to, maybe it was Naxos or somewhere else. It was on a weekend, and they just like checked for her throat, and they said no, like there's nothing there. Here's some antibiotics. You probably punctured it or something to help with, and take some painkillers. Like, you should be fine. Got the antibiotics, got the painkillers. It felt better. While we were in Chania, she still felt like it was like there was something there. So she went, and she was going crazy though because the people at the other place had told her there wasn't anything there. But at this point, it had been like a week or over a week of it, like feeling it. So she went, and they got an ENT person in there with his kit and everything. Drove from home, checked it out, and he was like, "Yep, there's a fish bone." And he numbed her, went in through the nose, I think, with a little camera thingy, and they fished out the bone. And she immediately was like, felt like the pressure like relieved, kind of thing. And I was like, this would suck if on your trip, like this 2-week long trip, like early on, you get fish bone sucked out. Like, that would suck. So I felt really, really bad. And then the next day, like, she still felt like it wasn't fully out. So then she went back, and her tonsils were like too inflamed and things, like they couldn't get the last bit out that was like stuck behind her tonsils. So they told her that when she gets to the States, she's gonna have to get her tonsils removed. I thought that was pretty wild, and that sucks. So PSA: chew your fish carefully. Don't swallow any fish bones. My dad said he had a cousin who she swallowed, don't know how this happened, a chicken bone, and it ended up like cutting her and then giving her sepsis. So they had to put her into a coma that she didn't wake up from for like 2 months. So chew your food carefully. Watch out for bones with anything you're eating that is of an animal product. And yeah, be careful. Because I was thinking, I was like, what if like during medieval times you swallowed a fish bone? What are you going to do? Like, if it's stuck back there, yeah, it's going to get infected, you're going to die. Pretty freaky. So I wonder how many medieval people like died off of like, oh, I swallowed a fish bone. That just goes through my head, I guess. Yeah, that was a story I did want to share. Glad I remembered it. Other than that, there was nothing else I have to share currently, but I will probably start to keep a list so I don't forget anything throughout the week that I do want to share. I'll come more prepared next time, guys. So yes, thank you all for listening to this episode of Students in Stereo. You can listen to this anywhere podcasts can be found, that being Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and podcasts, all the places podcasts can be found. You can also watch us on YouTube at Students in Stereo, and also follow us on Instagram at Students in Stereo. Awesome. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.